Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisleys claim life is rougher than prison life. Todd and Julie Chrisleys claim that life after prison is more difficult than their time behind bars. Life is rougher than prison life, Todd Chrisleys, a real estate mogul, said on Wednesday's episode of his podcast, Chrisleys Confessions 2.0. That's a sad thing to say because it is so horrific, the conditions that you're there for, but that's from a physical standpoint. But from an emotional and psychological standpoint, it is harder dealing with day to day. His wife, Julie Chrisleys, added, "When you're in prison, you know that you don't have any control. There's very little that you can do because you're in prison." She continued, "The longer you're there, the more removed you become to the world." The Chrisleys, who rose to fame with their TV show, Chrisley Knows Best, were sentenced in 2022 after they were found guilty of bank fraud and tax evasion. Prosecutors said they were defrauding banks and hiding tens of millions of dollars in income to evade taxes, all to fund their lavish lifestyle, which was showcased on their reality TV show. Todd Chrisleys was sentenced to 12 years in prison and Julie Chrisleys to 7. However, President Donald Trump pardoned both of them in May, when they were released after serving a little over 2 years behind bars. While in prison and hoping for a pardon, the Chrisleys showed support for Trump. Trump has been known to pardon his supporters, like the Chrisleys and the rioters who attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. During Wednesday's podcast, Todd Chrisleys said people transitioning from prison to the outside world need mental health help. "Life keeps moving," he explained, adding that for people who are incarcerated, life stays stuck on the day that they turn themselves in. Savannah Chrisleys, the couple's daughter, was instrumental in her parents' release. She advocated for them through social media and her podcast, and even spoke at last year's Republican National Convention, claiming her parents were victims of political persecution. Trump called Savannah Chrisleys in May to alert her that he was going to pardon her parents. "It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing, because your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow. Is that okay? We'll try getting it done tomorrow," Trump told her. "I don't know them, but give them my regards and wish them a good life." In a shocking new turn that stunned fans and critics alike, Chrisley Knows Best stars Todd and Julie Chrisleys have spoken out in their most candid post-prison interview yet, and their message is jaw-dropping. Life is rougher than prison life. The couple, who were released earlier this year after serving time for federal tax evasion and fraud, sat down for an exclusive tell-all where they claimed that their lives on the outside have become more difficult than anything they endured behind bars. The interview, conducted in a quiet Nashville estate far from their former mansion, was meant to be a hopeful homecoming story. But what began as a discussion of reintegration and redemption quickly turned into a surprising expose of what they say is a never-ending nightmare post-incarceration. Prison was predictable. This isn't. Todd Chrisleys, still impeccably groomed and dressed in a crisp navy blazer, didn't mince words when asked how he and Julie were adjusting to life back in the real world. "People think getting out is the end of the punishment," Todd said, his voice sharp with emotion. "But let me tell you, prison, for all its horrors, had a structure. It had rules. It was predictable. This is chaos. This is a different kind of sentence." Julie, seated beside him with a faint nod of agreement, added, "I thought being back with my family, with Savannah and Grayson and Chloe, would bring peace. But there's this pressure, this judgment from every direction. The cameras may be off, but the eyes are still on us, and people don't want us to rebuild. They want to watch us crumble. Family strains and media frenzy. One of the most heartbreaking revelations from the interview came when Todd admitted that relationships within the Chrisley family remain tense and uncertain. While Savannah has publicly advocated for her parents during their incarceration, sources say that behind closed doors, things haven't been as harmonious. There's resentment, Todd confessed. Savannah had to step up in ways no child should have to. And while we're grateful, the wounds run deep. She carries anger. And now we're all trying to coexist under one roof, pretending we can just pick up where we left off, her voice breaking slightly. I missed birthdays, holidays, precious time I'll never get back. My youngest son, Grayson, looks at me like I'm a stranger sometimes. And the tabloids, they twist everything. Every trip to the grocery store is turned into a public meltdown. Every tear becomes a headline. Financial ruin and career collapse. Another blow to the Chrisleys' post-prison lives has been the financial devastation they now face. With mounting legal fees, court-ordered restitution, and the collapse of their real estate empire, the Chrisleys are no longer living the lavish lifestyle that once defined their reality TV fame. We lost everything, Todd said, shaking his head. The houses, the cars, the staff, the brand partnerships. Gone. People don't realize how fast it crumbles. We're not just broke. We're tainted. No one wants to touch us. Julie revealed that even attempts to get back into the entertainment industry have been met with closed doors. We've had offers, but only the kind that want to exploit us. Prison Diaries with Julie Chrisley. Seriously. That's not storytelling, that's humiliation. We sleep with one eye open. The interview took a darker turn when the Chrisleys described the paranoia and threats they claim to now face on a regular basis. There are people who believe we got off easy, Todd said grimly. They send threats. They follow us. We've had people throw things at our property, leave notes in our mailbox. In prison, at least I knew who was dangerous. Out here, danger hides and smiles. Julie added, I don't feel safe. We installed new security, but I still wake up in the night, thinking someone's broken in. I jump when the phone rings. We're constantly looking over our shoulders. Social media's ruthless judgment. The Chrisleys have long been public figures, but the backlash they've received since their release has been unrelenting. Online critics, former fans, and internet trolls have flooded their accounts with hate, scorn, and calls for them to disappear forever. I deleted my social media for a while, Julie admitted. It was too much. The DMs were filled with things like, "Hope prison broke you," or "Go back to your cell." People I once inspired now call me a fraud. I know I made mistakes. I paid the price. But does that mean I don't deserve a second chance? Todd nodded solemnly. Cancel culture doesn't rehabilitate. It annihilates. The harshest blow. A broken reputation. Perhaps the most painful revelation of all came near the end of the interview, when Todd Chrisley admitted that the hardest part of life after prison isn't the money, the media, or even the family fractures. It's the loss of identity. For so long, I was Todd Chrisley. Businessman, TV star, father, husband. Now I'm Todd Chrisley, convicted felon. That label follows you. It chokes every opportunity before it can even take breath. Julie echoed his pain. I used to walk into a room and feel proud. Now I feel like a shadow. I feel like people see a mugshot instead of a person. Hope or hopeless? Still, the Chrisleys say they're trying to hold on to hope. Therapy, faith, and family dinners are part of their new routine. But they acknowledge that recovery is a mountain, and they're only at base camp. We're climbing, Julie said quietly. Every day, we put one foot in front of the other. But some days, it feels like the mountain is crumbling beneath us. Todd looked directly into the camera at the end of the interview and said, "To anyone out there who thinks freedom means peace, think again. For us, the outside world is the real test. And right now, we're barely passing."